Hi, in this tutorial video, I would like to introduce to you the collocation function on CorpusChat.com. Collocation, sometimes we call it word friends, is actually a difficult skill to master. Collocation tool can identify how the sequence or a combination of words that occur together more often than would be expected by chance. Okay, so again on CorpusChat.com, identify one chatbot that you would like to talk to, let's say British Academic Written Corpus again, and then click the button Chat Now. So this is where you can type your question. Remember in the previous video that I introduced concordance function, I had a question about using the word argue. Okay, you may want to know which words collocate immediately with the word argue, so you can type your question here. You can also identify, okay, for example, what is the verb collocation? What is the adverb collocation of the word argue? Or what is the adverb collocation of the word argue in the corpus? Or maybe that comes immediately after the word argue in the corpus. Now, for the collocation, you have to specify your prompt. For example, as a collocate, whether you want to indicate or specify the speech, part of speech tag, and also the position, okay? Because we know when it comes to collocation, it can be immediate collocate, let's say in the right or left position one. Okay, now here it provides you with the answer that, okay, which makes sense because we always use the phrase argue that, blah, 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 argue that, blah, blah, blah. Now, the pattern argue that appears multiple times in different contexts within the corpus. Based on this result, give me 10 concordance examples of the pattern argue that in the corpus. Okay, this is what you receive from AI, then you just build on the answers. I think what is good about CorpusChat.com is that we don't really need to interpret the answers. What you have to do is just only keep chatting with CorpusChat.com. It's more or less like your coach and your tutor. So here we have quite a number of examples, like argue that it is not a static phenomenon, argue that capitalism requires, blah, blah, blah. So you may build on what you learned. For example, give me the frequencies of some of these examples or present them in a keyword contest table, etc. Okay. And then let's say you are writing an essay on the topic of gender and you really want to build your knowledge about this topic. And then one way to build your knowledge is to understand the possible collocates of the word that you're interested in, let's say gender. So what are the collocates of the word gender in the corpus? Okay. This is not just only about language pattern, not just only about language use, but also more about building your knowledge. Okay. Imagine that if you have to read a lot about gender, you really want to know, for example, which words come quite frequently together with gender. Gender roles, gender identity, gender class, okay? And then maybe you're more interested in gender roles, okay? I'm more interested in the occurrences of the word gender and its collocate roles. Okay, let's like this, okay? Give me 10 concordance examples of, or maybe give me 10 concordance examples and present that in a keyword in contest table. Okay. So always learn how to ask questions wisely and always learn how to modify your prompt. Okay. Now, this will be very interesting because if you're writing a paper on gender, that helps you to expand your word vocabulary by knowing, okay, which are the possible collocates of a particular word that interests you. And then just like here, then we can say gender, okay, together with the collocates, roles, gender and class, okay. And then we can see these examples highlight the use of gender, also providing you with more information about, okay, the context, like, okay, relating to the expectations or the structures. Another very interesting point about collocation is what we call engram, that is multi-word combinations. For example, for gender, you can ask, okay, how is the word gender used in three-word combinations in the vocals, okay? So you can actually make it more specific, just like some common expressions that you have to learn, and you can understand which are more common expressions used in the corpus that really tell you which is more representative in the corpus. And it tells you three-word combination, gender roles, and it may not be that impressive or representative or seen as common expressions, but we can see gender and class, they all come together. Gender role, responsibility, the gender gap. I think these will be very interesting, and you can build on this.